Welcome to Rise Up Voices from the Frontlines, your window into relationships, identity, safety, emotional awareness, regulation and intelligence, unleashed potential, passion and purpose.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Rise Up Voices from the Frontlines, Relationship Reset Edition, the podcast where we look relationships straight in the eye and say, let's do this differently. I'm Krista Fee, trauma educator, relationship practitioner, and tactical communicator for the lovers, the fighters, and the ones stuck somewhere in between. Today's episode may hit a nerve, especially if you've ever found yourself saying, why won't they just understand how if they loved me, they'd agree with me? We're talking about a specific dynamic that shows up in a lot of anxious attachment systems, particularly when one partner uses control, emotional pressure, or righteousness to extract validation, agreement, and emotional safety from the other. This one's for my anxious partner who's afraid of being abandoned, and for the avoidant partner who shuts down, not because they don't care, but because they feel emotionally overrun and manipulated. And just like last time, we're going to go deep, real conversations, real tones, and real tools. So let's get into it. Anxious attachment plus fixed mindset equals emotional pressure. Let's set the stage. Anxious attachment isn't bad. It often stems from early inconsistent connection, where love was real but not always safe. So the nervous system learns if I don't work to keep love, I might lose it. Now combine that with a fixed mindset, the belief that our perspective is absolute, that we're right, and that others must agree with us in order for connection to feel real. What do you get? Emotional control masked as clarity, validation seeking disguised as truth-telling, and very often a slow burn emotional hostage situation. Emotional safety versus emotional agreement. Here is a truth bomb. Validation is not the same as agreement, and yet so many anxious controllers equate the two. Let me give you an example. Taylor and Jordan. Taylor and Jordan are in a relationship. Jordan is more avoidant, slow to speak, needs time to process. Taylor has big feelings and needs things resolved quickly. Taylor comes home after a conflict with a friend and wants Jordan to agree that the friend was out of line. She totally disrespected me. Like, if you were there, you would have seen it. Don't you think that was totally out of line? Now, Jordan gets quiet. I mean, maybe she didn't mean it that way. Taylor's response stiffens, tone sharpens. So you're taking her side now? Jordan, no, I'm just saying that it might have come across differently. Taylor says, I can't believe you're invalidating me right now. I came to you for support. What just happened? Taylor didn't want support. Taylor wanted agreement. And when Jordan didn't fully mirror Taylor's emotional interpretation, Taylor read it as betrayal. This is one of the biggest gaslighting dynamics I see from the anxiously controlling partner. They weaponize their emotions as the only truth, and if you don't mirror it, you're the enemy. Emotional enmeshment that masquerades as intimacy. Here's another hard truth. When your emotional safety depends on someone else agreeing with your feelings or interpretations, you're not in a relationship. You're in an emotional dictatorship. You might say, I just want to be heard. But what you really want is, say I'm right or you don't love me. That's not intimacy. That's forced fusion, and it is exhausting. So let me give you a scene breakdown. Control in action. Let's walk through a few different scenarios where this might show up. Agreement as proof of love. Julia says, I just feel like your mom doesn't respect me, and you sitting there saying nothing proves that you don't either. Mark's response, I don't think that she meant it that way. She was just trying to joke. Julia, unbelievable. You always take her side. Every time I'm hurt, you minimize it. Why don't you ever have my back? Mark's response, I didn't say I didn't have your back. Julia, no, you just never validate what I feel. I'm always alone in this relationship. Notice Julia isn't just expressing pain. She's requiring emotional allegiance. She isn't just saying that hurt. She's saying you must adopt my view of the situation or I question your love. That is relational control, and it's incredibly destabilizing to someone who already struggles with avoidance. Scene 2, guilt and shame as tools. Sam, I really need some space right now. I'm overloaded. Casey, oh, so me wanting to connect is just a burden. Got it. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe you just don't care at all. Sam's response, that's not what I said. Casey, no, it's fine. You always need space. Just let me know when I'm allowed to have feelings, I guess. This isn't vulnerability. It's emotional coercion. It's saying, give me what I want, or I'll make you feel like a monster. The anxious partner may not mean to manipulate, but this is where trauma reenacts itself by flipping from abandoned child to emotional captor. Let's go to one more scene. Weaponizing empathy. I just need to feel like you understand how hard this has been. This is Rachel. Dylan's response, I do, I'm here. I just don't think that comment my sister made was meant the way that you heard it. Rachel's response, so you're telling me I imagined it, that I'm crazy. Dylan's response, no, I'm saying it may have landed differently than she intended. Rachel's response, why do I even bother trying to explain myself to you? You clearly think I'm irrational. Here we go again. The anxious controller translates empathy as echoing. If your version of support doesn't match their internal script, they accuse you of invalidating. Now, what this feels like from both perspectives. If you're the anxious controller, you likely feel exhausted from chasing reassurance, scared when things are unresolved. You probably feel hurt when someone doesn't immediately agree with you. Frustrated that your needs never quite feel met. And angry when your partner seems to pull away. And if you're the avoidant or shutdown partner, you're probably feeling things like emotionally overwhelmed and cornered, afraid to say anything because it will be twisted. Like there's never room for your perspective. Like you're constantly being punished for not feeling the right thing. This dynamic is a loop of emotional suffocation on one side and silent withdrawal on the other. Neither of you wins. Neither of you feels seen. Everyone ends up alone in the same room. So where does this come from? This dynamic is so frequently rooted in trauma-fueled fixed thinking. a belief that I must be right because being wrong isn't safe. Emotional enmeshment, mistaking agreement for connection. Hypervigilance, reading disagreement as danger. Learned manipulation, using guilt, blame, or collapse to secure attachment. And let me say this clearly. This doesn't necessarily make you an abuser, but many of these behaviors can easily become abuse or abusive. It does, by definition, mean that your inner child is running your relationship. So let's break this pattern. How do we heal it? If you're the anxious controller, feel the urge to force agreement, but pause. Ask, do I want connection or do I want control? Validate yourself before demanding it from others. I feel hurt when that happens. I don't need you to agree. I just need you to hear it. Let people hold different truths. Your story is valid, and so is theirs. Stop using emotional collapse as a strategy. Let I feel scared replace you never care. If you're the avoidant partner, don't disengage completely. You can hold boundaries and presence at the same time. Say things like, I care about your feelings, even if I don't fully see it the same way. I care about you, even if I don't agree with you. Be brave enough to stay when things get vulnerable. Not every disagreement is a betrayal. Not every difference in perception is a lack of love. And not every moment of disconnection means the relationship is doomed. Rupture and repair is normal. But if you've been trying to force emotional alignment as proof of love, you're not looking for a partner. You're looking for a mirror. And real love isn't a mirror. It's a space where both people can be real even when it's messy. The more that we learn to speak our truth without demanding conversion, the more safety we create for ourselves and the people we love. You don't need agreement to be valid. You need courage to stand in your truth without turning it into a weapon. If this episode hits home for you, whether you saw yourself in the anxious controller or the shutdown partner, this is the kind of work that we do every day inside the Rise Up Relationship Reset program and community. And if you want tools, want to be seen in the nuanced, subtle areas, come join us. Until next time, stay grounded, stay self-aware, and stay in the fight for real, authentic love.
Become a Rise Up Hero sponsor to provide mental wellness and crisis response resources for those who serve country and community. Join us in the Rise Up movement today.